So today I'm going to be sharing my top tips for creating vertically oriented real estate videos. Some tips to get the best shots while editing, keep it engaged, and help you stand out from the rest. Let's get into it right now. So first off, why vertical? Why film real estate videos vertically? Like I mentioned in a previous video, I'm officially seeing this shift where realtors are coming to me and actually only wanting vertically oriented real estate videos, not the traditional 16:9 video that we all normally do. And if anything, if they still book the regular listing video, they always get the vertical version as an add-on because they love sharing that version on social media versus the longer, regular formatted real estate video. And I've been curious and I've asked some of my clients, and some have even said they just don't get the return that they used to get. They don't get enough engagement when they share it, or they also feel like potential buyers don't even see the video when it's attached to the listing online. So now they're seeing more engagement in return, posting highlight listing videos as Instagram Reels or sharing it on other vertically oriented platforms. So it makes sense because it helps them grow their own audience, build their online presence, and show what they do for all of their listings. So my first tip might sound pretty obvious, but it's to shoot vertically. Actually orient your camera to shoot vertically, whether it's on a gimbal, tripod, however you shoot these things. You're probably wondering like, duh, that's a first tip, but it wasn't for me because when I first started, I just shot the regular horizontal based video and then we reformatted it in editing to fit vertically. And the problem with this is you're squeezing that big frame to that little section and it's just not gonna look the best, especially if you shoot it vertically where you're gonna get that natural orientation and fit a lot more in the frame. And so that's where a gimbal like this comes into play. This is the DJI RS3 Mini. Made a video about this and really have enjoyed using this gimbal because natively you can mount your camera to shoot vertically. So you have the option to shoot your regular horizontal video and mount the camera vertically by just doing a few steps and rebalancing it and you're good to go. But it's not necessary. You don't have to go buy a whole new gimbal just to get started to offer this to your clients because that's what I did when I first started and they really liked it. All you want to do is you want to make sure that you can shoot in a much higher quality, whether it's 4K or higher, so when you crop into that video, it's still going to fit this 9:16 orientation perfectly fine because if you shoot 1080, you're going to punch in so much that it's not going to look the best. But if you shoot your regular video in 4K, just make sure that you're framing it to where your subject is in the center so it's easy to reformat it for vertical. Now, before getting into the next tip, I need to take my productivity shot. That's right, a productivity shot for creators like you and I called Magic Mind. Do more, stress less. If you're like me in the photo video space and have long shoot days, long editing days, I guarantee you're gonna find yourself eventually consuming a lot of coffee or a lot of energy drinks. And the fact is, that's not too good for you. Unlike this drink, which it actually is. So here's where Magic Mind comes into play. This is a 2-ounce productivity shot that keeps you focused. It doesn't make you feel over jittery, over caffeinated, or make you crash later. And for full transparency, they sent me a 30-day pack, which I already finished half of them, and I have half left, and I can honestly say it's going pretty well. I found that if I take these late morning or early afternoon, it keeps me feeling focused and more productive. And I also really love the fact that it tastes good and the fact that it's a 2-ounce bottle, it's really easy to consume. And the reason that it works is just because of what it's made of. The nootropics will keep you feeling focused and not over-energized, along with lion's mane and cordyceps mushrooms, which boost your focus and clarity. And L-theanine is nature's time-released caffeine found in matcha, which helps increase focus and attention. And lastly, I really appreciate the fact that they have a money-back guarantee. Whether you didn't like it, it didn't work for you, no questions asked, they'll give you your money back. But honestly, I think you'll like it. So if you're interested in getting your first batch of Magic Mind, head to the link in the description and make sure to use my code Andrei20 to save yourself 20% off that first order. And now, back to the video. And here's a pro tip that I recently just discovered. Most cameras now have a feature where you can auto-rotate your video based on if you're shooting it horizontally or vertically. That's a big plus because you don't have to reformat all of your videos from horizontal to vertically in editing, and instead it just drops in already vertically oriented. It's a big plus. I found it in the Canon menu systems where it just auto-rotates in camera, and I'm sure yours can do the same, and that will save you a lot of time. So now moving on to tip number 2, which is kind of funny. It's the opposite of shooting everything everything vertically, it's to actually break the vertical shots up by shooting some horizontal shots. This is a really cool thing that I discovered that I think makes the visual representation of the video a lot more interesting, and it's really simple. Basically, if you're delivering a vertically oriented listing video, try and shoot it vertically like tip number 1, but then if you have time, even if it's handheld or just you're able to, reformat your gimbal to shoot horizontally, take some shots of the main areas in that regular horizontal aspect ratio, so then you can stack 3 of them on one vertical plane and it's gonna look really cool. That way it's a lot more engaging and the whole video isn't just the same orientation the whole time. It's like you'll have a vertical intro, another vertical shot, another vertical one, and then you can showcase, for example, a wide shot of the kitchen and then another one under it and then a detail. It looks a lot more interesting and keeps it more engaging that way. And same thing, if your primary video that you're delivering is a horizontal regular real estate video, but you're also doing a vertical edit of it, make sure to actually snap a couple of vertical oriented videos so the whole video isn't your punched in shots or just horizontal stacked shots, and it just gives it a more variety. So that's one thing I've done, even if it's handheld, a couple of slow shots in 4K 60, just doing a little bit of movement. If I can't rebalance the gimbal, I'm really happy because I have those shots as an option, and it always makes the video a lot better. Which brings me to tip number 3, and that is to keep it engaging. Think about where these videos are gonna go, these vertically oriented real estate videos. They're gonna go on Instagram Reels, TikTok, a YouTube Short, which you have to keep it really engaging. You're not gonna have a viewer there for minutes on hand, and so you have to remember that these videos are gonna be like 45 seconds, 1 minute max, and so you have to keep it engaging that whole time. Especially the first couple of shots or the first couple of seconds of the video are really important. You can't have a 10-second drone intro because no one's gonna really stay to see that rest of the video. They might just get bored halfway through that. So keeping the shots engaging, moving quickly is better than a really drawn out video for these type of platforms. And personally, when I do these vertical oriented videos, I don't show the whole property. I don't show every single secondary room or every single secondary bath unless they want that. This is more of a highlight video to get someone, a potential buyer or someone that's interested in this video, to go check out the agent's profile, which would lead them to that listing. And then they can see a full-length video or the photos or whatever. But I think it's best to just showcase a highlight of the property, like the main areas, like the kitchen, living, exterior, any upgrades, specific lifestyle features of this home, and just focus on that versus showing the whole home, because then it's just kind of losing its purpose. And to show more shots of the home, use tip number 2, which is to stack those horizontal shots, and now you can showcase a whole room in one clip versus here's one angle of the kitchen, a second angle, and then a detail, and then another angle. If you stack those 3 like in tip number 2, you can showcase it and then show more in the video. Tip number 4 is to add an on-camera intro to your video. This is something I recently started doing if the agent is comfortable with it, but it honestly adds a lot to the video. It adds a lot to the production value, how much the realtor puts into their videos, adds to your brand, their brand, shows that they're willing to go that extra mile to showcase this nice listing on social media. And it's really simple. You don't have to overthink this. This is not a fully scripted voiceover type of video. This is something that could easily be done on the spot if they're prepared for it. Don't just spring it on them if they're in a t-shirt, but if they're actually expecting to do this, it can be really simple by just having them say 2 to 3 sentences about the property, and that's it. It can just say their name, who they're with, the address of the property, and some highlights about it, and then just let's check it out, and then jump into the video. Something really simple that's also more engaging and relatable to viewers online that are scrolling through these videos, and seeing somebody on camera talking to them versus just visuals of the home is probably gonna be more engaging that way. So I recently did this with an agent that was kind of scared to be on camera. I think she did a great job and added a lot to the video. She was wanting to step out of her comfort zone, do an intro, and then I pushed her to also do an outro, and it worked out great. Same thing for the outro. Thanks for watching. Her information, if you're interested, reach out and go from there with some call to action, and that's it. Adds a lot more to the video versus, again, just being music and shots of the home. And if you do this route, make sure to use some sort of professional audio. I would avoid using an on-camera shotgun mic like I usually do when I'm vlogging or things like that, because you might be a good distance away from the agent and you're gonna get all of that background noise, all of the outside noises of cars, grass, leaves, if there's people mowing their yard. Anything will get picked up a lot more versus using something like a lav mic, like this one right here is the DJI mic. I've talked about this a lot because I really like it, but having this right next to your talent, right here on whatever they're wearing, this audio is gonna sound a lot better than if you're using a mic like I am right now, but from really far away on your camera on a gimbal, you're not gonna get the agent's voice really well. So having some sort of lav setup like this will get you the best results. And it's really easy to set up. Put it on my camera, put this on them, make sure the levels are good, and that's it. And then I also take it a step further, which is not necessary, but I do a couple of variations of it where I'll have the intro in one spot, maybe I'll do one inside, or maybe an outro on the backyard, an outro in the inside, just to have some options depending on lighting, or if they set it better in another take. Just give yourself some options to deliver the best version in editing. And my last and final tip is to get creative. I feel like for the longest time when we created real estate videos, we had to go by a lot of MLS guidelines. Like you couldn't have the agent's information on there. I don't know if you could have on camera parts. You had to keep it very limited to just showing shots of the home like a regular virtual tour. Now you can get a lot more creative with it by adding sound effects, music, the on-camera parts of the agent, showcasing whatever information they want, branded videos. You don't have to be limited by just what we used to have to post on MLS and certain guidelines because it's just going on Instagram, on their social media pages. So it's a great opportunity in my case to add more editing assets to your videos, but don't go overboard with it. That's the other thing. It's just two extremes where some people don't put any editing into their videos, but then also other people really over edit. And I've said this before on the channel, especially lately, I feel like a lot of stuff is over edited lately and it's not necessary, especially for the type of video or photo content. And it's just overdone. I don't know. And especially for real estate, like you don't have to go crazy with it. Like you have to remember the point of these videos is still to just showcase the home, showcase the features and the type of lifestyle you can live there, and to get a potential buyer be interested in that and make a sale for the realtor. But now being able to create these videos for social media, this also adds to the agent's branding, their personal image, things like that. But just remember, you don't have to go overboard and add every transition, every speed ramp to your videos. So some of my favorite things to do in my videos, of course, add music that goes with the flow of the house, sound effects, which if you're curious where I get all my music and sound effects from, it's from Epidemic Sound. I actually have a personal curated real estate playlist in the description below. I am a huge fan of Epidemic Sound. Personally, I'm an ambassador for them and proud to be one. But if you're interested, you can actually do a free 30-day trial and check out the music that I use for all of our real estate videos, and I'm constantly adding to it. I'm not just trying to sell you on the service, it's a big part of my business. I also like to add certain graphic overlays like you saw by stacking the 3 clips, or doing another one where it's kind of like a film type of overlay where you showcase 2 clips. Or I like to add a couple of film transitions in there just if I need something to go from one scene to another, but still keeping it very minimal and not drowning it with edits to where it takes away from the video. And that's pretty much it. Those are my top tips for creating these vertically oriented real estate videos. And I think if you're not offering something like this, you're honestly missing out, because if you're a seasoned real estate videographer, or that's a big chunk of your business, and you only deliver that one regular horizontal video, you can keep doing what you're doing, but just add this as an add-on and make another $100-200 or whatever you want to charge for it. And it's honestly really easy to reformat some of that footage to just be a short 30-second highlight video, or go the extra mile to actually shoot these vertically with a gimbal or whatever and make it a separate product that you can charge pretty close to what you were charging for regular real estate videos. And I was honestly really hesitant because I didn't like the direction of how everything is vertical now. The only regular formats of video are pretty much for YouTube now, not so much all the other platforms because they're just pushing vertical so much. But I feel like if you want to keep going in this industry, be innovative, you always have to adapt to new things, but you don't have to sacrifice the things you like to do. So for me personally, I don't like those really over edited videos like I mentioned, and I still try to keep that clean, minimal look and add in a couple of creative elements to still be a lot like my style. And so far, our agents love it and they're really happy with the work that we're doing. So that's it for this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, comment down your thoughts, subscribe if you haven't already. I would love for you guys to be part of the channel. Make sure to check out Magic Mind in the description if you're interested, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.